Coventry City have been served an eviction notice asking them to leave their own stadium by its new owner, none other than Mike Ashley. With the championship returning in full this Saturday, a big story broken by the BBC Three Counties over in the Midlands, and it's not a very good one if you are a Coventry fan. Apparently, this notice to leave and return your passes, clear your desk, however you want to look at it, was served on Friday. It's broken today. Coventry play away this coming Saturday. Their next home game is on the 17th. If the situation we're about to discuss is not sorted by then, Coventry, who are no strangers to this, will be homeless for the third time in, I think, about the last 10 years. Get your thoughts in via the comments. Don't forget to hit like, even though it's not a very like-worthy story, I get it. Now, I'm sure Coventry fans will be sadly familiar with this tale, but this is fairly complex, so I'll just go through how we have got here. Coventry obviously used to play at Highfield Road. A new stadium was built, the Ricoh Arena, in 2005, and Coventry moved in there. The stadium was owned by Arena Coventry Limited, which was a company jointly owned by Coventry Council. Now, there was a rent dispute back in 2013, and Coventry left to go and play at Northampton. In the meantime, ACL, Arena Coventry Limited, were bought out by the rugby club Wasps. That was in 2014, and Coventry moved back in. They were there for another 5 years, but there was then a dispute with Wasps. And in 2019, Coventry again were homeless and went to play at Birmingham City. Coventry returned back to the stadium in 2021, but just a month or two ago, Wasps went into administration. Are you still following? Now, this is where it gets really, really murky, because as Wasps are going into administration, Mike Ashley's Fraser's group signed a deal basically giving them first refusal on buying the stadium and, well, the three companies that owned the stadium in the event of that Wasps administration. Presumably Ashley wanted to do this because if you own a stadium of a football club, maybe you would own the football club as well. Perhaps, that's supposition on my part. Mike Ashley doesn't own Coventry though, because in the meantime, a gentleman named Doug King became the new majority owner of Coventry, taking 85% from Sisu. So here we go. Coventry have, in very short order, a new majority owner, but their stadium was also bought by a different party. But no problem. A Fraser spokesperson said when that administration of Wasps happened and their deal kicked in particular, we are looking forward to working with Coventry City. Roll on just, well, a couple more weeks now to where we are today. And far be it from working with Coventry City, as we've said, BBC have reported they've asked Coventry City and its employees to sling your rook, get the hell out. Right, hopefully I have got all of that right. Forgive me if there were any minor details wrong. But I think the key point is we've gone from a situation where Coventry moved stadium and there's been a lot of, you know, upheaval, weird kind of structures in terms of how everything was working. And we've landed now at a point where Coventry have been taken over by one person, yet another person is in ownership of their stadium. Now, look, don't get me wrong. I like to sit and watch TV at night, and I like programs like Billions and Devils and Succession and things like that, where we have these kind of magnate, super rich, ruthless bastard businessmen who do deals just like this and who shift money about and have these massive wars. Unfortunately, they don't tend to end well, and there's a lot of collateral damage. Hopefully, this is going to be nothing like the kind of fetishized view of it on Billions or Succession or whatever. But we do now have two very, very rich, powerful people kind of in opposition with each other. Obviously, Mike Ashley has a reputation in football from his time at Newcastle. Let's not go into that. That's another 10 hours of conversation. But his business reputation, this is completely on brand with it because it's going into distressed shops, buying them cheap, regenerating them and selling them. We'll talk about the moral implications of that at the end of the video, and you can come to whatever opinion you see fit. But from a business point of view, this guy is incredibly successful, and he's done lots and lots of things like this before in terms of turning around a quick buck. So perhaps here the best case scenario for Mike Ashley is that he's bought this stadium, somebody else has bought the club, and he can presumably turn a very, very quick profit on selling the stadium for presumably way more than he's just paid for it to the new owner, Doug King. We've seen quotes saying that they're trying to secure the stadium, so it might just be that this is a bit of posturing and Mike Ashley's going to walk away with a load of money in his pocket and we'll move on happily ever after. Doug King's a bit poorer, Mike Ashley's a lot richer, and Coventry have got a home to play at. It could be that if they can't agree that maybe it's the rent side and you have Doug King renting from Mike Ashley. Again, very rich, powerful people don't play well together. Not really sure that happens. Either way, Mike Ashley owns something that Coventry want, and I'm sure he's expecting to get paid for it. In terms of Coventry, the best case scenario here is a quick solution, and obviously them not being homeless again. As I said, 17th of December is the next game, and these things obviously take lots of time to sort of get structured and sorted, these type of big deals. But if something is going to change hands or take place, and this is maybe more a threat rather than an actual out you get type situation, then maybe they can get that agreed and Coventry will be in the stadium by December the 17th for that game. The worst case scenario, of course, is some kind of impasse and discussions not particularly going anywhere between either party. And of course, we all know who gets left holding the baby in that situation. It will be the football club, and then of course by proxy it is the fans of the football club who are either going to miss out if there's big problems, or once again an agreement's going to have to be made with the EFL for Coventry to go and play their football somewhere. Basically, whatever is agreed in terms of getting this eviction business sorted out needs to be agreed fast. The one thing that we should also throw in, which is probably the most frustrating for Coventry fans, is that the team are actually good. And we've always kind of commentated on Coventry in recent years and said, oh, despite all the nonsense that's happened off the pitch, you know, the recruitment's good. Mark Robins does a good job. There was obviously this silly situation at the start of the season with the pitch. They've got back from that, and since getting the likes of Gus Hamer on the pitch and not suspended, Callum O'Hare fit, Victor Gilchrist started firing, the team are keeping clean sheets and winning games. And I thought I was going to be making a video about a Coventry playoff push, or, you know, wherever it could take them, rather than a "Are Coventry going to be homeless" video again. So the first thing I'll say before I give my take on what's actually going on there is, yes, of course, I have empathy for the Coventry fans, and it's just another in a long string of, I can't think of a better word other than off-pitch nonsense that they've had to put up with over the last 15, 20 years. So my take on the whole saga, look, I'm not a business expert, and yeah, my reference points are billions and devil, so maybe not the best. What I do know is there's probably not much use going down the outrage and personalisation route, because we've got the moral side and we've got the business side. And I know I'm going to get lots of comments on here saying how horrible Mike Ashley is. And whilst I understand those comments, it's not really going to make that much difference in the grand scheme of things to go down that route. You can have your view on the moral side, and I totally get the idea that it is a bit vulture-like, isn't it, this type of business. You're waiting for something to go wrong to essentially go in, get it cheap, sell it on, etc. You can look upon it a different way. I'm sure there'll be quotes from the Fraser's group saying that, well, they resuscitate these things and people would lose their jobs if they didn't. So I'm sure they would argue the other side. But remember, this is football and it's not quite the same as just straight economics, given the emotions and the input and the tribalistic nature that comes from fans. From a business point of view, again, Mike Ashley is massively successful, massively rich, and look, if this were the TV show and he was the arch-villain billionaire, he would be sitting there grinning probably, because he's obviously made a very clever deal to get the bidding rights after the administration. He's owner of the stadium now, and the other guy wants it. So as much as it's not really great, and the way it's been done in terms of we're looking forward to working with Coventry, and then an eviction notice, which feels very much like coming up to Christmas, Dirty Den serving Angie the divorce papers on Christmas Day. It's not great, but maybe it's just the way these hard-nosed, mega, super rich, powerful, ruthless businessmen work. Not for me, personally, but I can see both sides that morally, I don't particularly like it, and I think that there would be nicer ways, but hey, I'm not one of these people, am I? So I probably don't quite understand the mindset. So morally, I don't particularly like it. From a business point of view, I guess it is what it is. I just am a football fan and have subscribers who are Coventry fans, and I don't want them to go through lots of nonsense that might involve going and travelling to see their team in another stadium. As I said, the emotions and the tribalistic nature of football, it's about home, it's about belonging, not being here, there at Northampton and at Birmingham City and everywhere if you are a Coventry fan. So my take is, morally, don't much like it. Business-wise, fine, you know, whatever it is, what it is, and he might turn a huge profit and come away feeling very smug with himself, Mr. Ashley, so long as it doesn't hurt Coventry big time in the long run. If some very, very rich men are going to be chucking millions of pounds between each other, then so be it. They can do what they like. But I would like to get this sorted out nice and quickly from a Coventry's fans' point of view. I know we'll get comments on Coventry Council and their role, and that predates to the ownership before it went off to Wasps, and could this have been regulated better? I think there's a lot that's gone into getting to this point, more than just an eviction notice being served. But that is the headline, and that is my take on it today. Hopefully I've done that story justice. I've tried to do a fair bit of research and look it all up. So again, apologies. I'm sure there are going to be Coventry fans who know way more about this than me. I don't profess to know more than those Coventry fans. I'm just giving my opinion here for what it's worth here on the channel. I'm entitled to mine. You're entitled to yours. Why don't you get it down there in the comments? And if you've enjoyed the content, please hit like and subscribe. There's been lots of World Cup stuff, but the Championship is coming back. So if you want to stay on a similar theme, and where we thought Coventry might have been challenging, and still might be challenging if this gets sorted out given the trajectory of what the team was doing before the World Cup break, here is my take on Vincent Kompany and Burnley's turnaround, and what it might take for the likes of Coventry to challenge for promotion this season. Click up there to watch that video.